I've been pressed in the service. This is supposed to be a Swide's job.
He was preaching.
So he's done enough today. Yeah, brother, you went up to Detroit and caught something. It'll do that to you. This is the third and the last of our interviews, trying to remember our 66-year history. And there are a lot of you who've been a part of a lot of that history and say, well, I know all that because I was there. Well, just keep in mind there were a lot of people that wasn't there. And they need to know the story of how we became who we became. And they need to understand that there was once nothing here and that something occurred and that if we did it once, we can do it again. So today we're interviewing one of the people that joined in Houston very early. Now, the people that came from other cities to found Shrine 10 got here, and it was a small cadre of about 60 people. But within the first year, we brought in 300 people. So we were off and running. And this is one of the members out of the Houston community that joined us. And so we want to recount why she did something crazy like that. So, Naila, so pleased to meet you.
Pleasure's mine.
What was it that attracted you and led you to join the Shrine in the early 70s out of the Houston community?
I joined the Shrine in the first Sunday of June in 1979, but I had been coming since January. What attracted me was a leaflet that I was given downtown on my lunch hour, handed out by two people who said, we'd like to invite you out to church. They gave me a leaflet that said, Programming for Liberation Across the Nation. Here in Houston at that time, there was a lot of frustration by people of my generation with social injustice, inequality, police brutality, the mistreatments of the Black Panther Party and shootout on Dowling. So we were looking for answers. I was among those people who was thoroughly frustrated with all of the things that were happening in Houston. And when they gave me a leaflet that said Programming for Liberation Across the Nation, BCN is the answer, the only answer, it piqued my interest. And I knew I had to go. So that was in January. I attended church until I joined in June in 1979. The wonderful thing about the Shrine, it not only said it was the answer, it was proving. It wasn't just talk. There were people actually working to transform the lives of Black people, supporting the vision of our founder and giving us hope that things can be better if only we would work and do the work and make things better. And every contribution was significant in the nation. You can do anything, and you can be anything in the nation was the thing that attracted me to it and the work that we did.
Okay, a big part of the nation at that time was the group experience, which we used through the groups to which we were assigned, through the communal experience of living and being and working together. How did the group experience affect your life?
It improved my life. I'm an only child, and I was very introverted, but the group experience in the nation taught me that I had a lot of brothers and sisters. And we moved around from group to group from years. So in about a period of 3 years, I knew everybody in the church. We were all bound together in a very sacred fellowship. And the thing that made it really holy to me is that we were all working toward the same goal. Nothing is more sacred than the liberation of black people. And we will do whatever is necessary to achieve our goals. And we have kept each other's children, been to the hospital while children were being born, cleaned each other's houses up, cleaned our institutions. We did the work that was necessary to maintain our institutions, and we did it together. And in that fellowship, there was a particular love and respect that developed for each other, and it exists to this day.
Amen. Finally, last question. Describe how you felt about the Shrine's development over the years. But like, from being here, joining when we just had the church and the original residence hall, to the other things that we were able to acquire and build over the years. How did that happen, and what impact did it have on?
When I joined in it, the nation said you can become anything and you can do anything. It was work that we put in motion that made it possible. When I joined, we only had the Shrine, the 5702, and the training center. And the work that we did, the sacrifice and commitment, investment that each member was able to make into the church allowed us to acquire the cultural center where we are now. It allowed us to acquire the missionary training institutes, 5,500, 5,600. Then we had bought the meditation center, the retreat center. All of those things were made possible by what we did, what we invested, and how we were committed to seeing it to the end. And it was amazing to me when we would walk down Martin Luther King, it was like, we own this street because we built these things, we got these things, and it dispelled the belief that we were inferior and we couldn't work together and we couldn't do things, we couldn't accomplish things, because we had living proof on Martin Luther King that black people working together can do anything.
Yeah, and you have to remember that this was going on in not just Houston, but it was going on in Atlanta and in Detroit and in Kalamazoo and in Flint. And so it gave us a sense of feeling invincible, almost being arrogant that we could do anything. And I pray that we had that experience for another generation where they'll get arrogant enough to believe that we can do anything. And we had this dialogue so that on the one hand, other people would hear some of how we developed, but also to give a kind of congratulations before we're dead to the people that built everything that we have, to remember that we accomplished something, and that if the next generation will accomplish as much as we have accomplished, then black people will be in good hands. Amen.
Amen.